All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Kakadash. That's all praises to the world called God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Also, want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. On the brother Tazabah, Lord Will, with another video to edify. And I wanted to put my 2 cents on this old plow, right? And the thing that amazes me about the whole situation, this dude popping back up, is I can see a lot more people popping up. Because it's easy to pop up now. It's easy to pop up now, right? Especially when you sat there and you had yourself had some type of claim, and you can sit here and produce an image of holiness. It's easy to pop back up now because what? Things are popping off. Things are popping off. There's prophecy coming to pass. There's war in Israel. It's just getting heated up to where they're talking about World War III being a high possibility. But where was that same energy where the stuff wasn't hot and heavy? Right? The fact that you're now popping up and you weren't consistent this whole time shows that you were never really sincere, and you never really believed because you fell out. The scriptures tell you confession. Let me get that, man. So like, yeah, this is Romans 10:10. It says, "For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation." But the confession for him had been cut off. He wasn't out there teaching, right? And if he says he was off grid, teaching off grid, okay, well, you were teaching off grid. What about the men that are in the grid? You forgot about them? You can't have this mindset, man. It's you can fool man, but you're not gonna fool the Lord. Remember this, the Lord said what? He's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of men. And too many times people come up and act like they're gonna pull something over on us, and that's gonna be the same as pulling something over on the Lord. It's not. Shit, you call me a fool, but I know one that's mightier than me that isn't. And that's Yahweh Shemel Shah. You ain't gonna be able to play those games. But this dude didn't see that this dude had to see to believe to pop back up. Because you've been off a grid all this time. Then you pop back up and say you coming back to put things in order. So you saw stuff in disorder the whole time in your mind. You saw stuff in disorder the whole time. And now you're saying something? That's not sincere. Right? This is back in James. This is James chapter 2. No, not James. I wanted to get John 20. John 20 and 28. I'll probably start at. I'll start at 27. It says, "Then said he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless and unbelieving." Right? And Thomas answered and said unto him, My Lord, my God. Yahushai saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet believed. And that's the point. This dude had to see to believe. But you have the elders and apostles, other brothers that have been preaching this entire time that didn't have to see these things in the real time, but believe. They believed that it was written and it was going to come to pass. And what? Now it's coming to pass. And now they have something to glory in. The fact that the Lord gave them the amount of faith to believe even without these things coming to pass. But this dude isn't of that sort. And I believe there's going to be more men that pop up in the same mentality that had to see it to believe it. But the scriptures tell you, blessed are those who have not seen yet believe. Right? You go back into what is the scripture, man? And I was just thinking about it. Man, blessed are those who have not seen but yet believe. Man, I can't remember how the scripture goes, man. The Lord will come back to me. But you got to be instant in this thing. You got to be always on point. Because when you actually believe something that produces work, oh, I remember it, man. Right? Jeremiah 20:9, it says, I'll start at 8. It says, for since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil. So where you been crying of violence and spoil? Right? Because the word of Yahweh was made a reproach unto me in a derision daily. Right? But you've been preaching in secret. Right? What happened to have to be viewed as a fool in the grand sight for everybody to scoff at you? What if you've been doing it in secret? You ain't been taking that part of the battle. It says, then I answered, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his word was in me. See, this is what happened to him. He said he wasn't going to make mention of the Lord, because who knows really what happened for him in his situation, and it can happen to anybody. But who knows really what happened to him in his situation to where he said, you know what, I'm not going to go out and teach. I'm not going to go out to the highways and byways, right? Who knows what happened to him in his situation? But for a man that really believes, the Lord's going to have the spirit on him so heavy that this is going to happen. It says, any more in his name, but his word was in my heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones. I was weary with forbearing. I cannot stay. Right? The scriptures be so tight in you, the spirit be so heavy on you that you can't hold back, that you got to get out there and preach. Right? And a man that sits here and glorying and being labeled the seventh and feels like he has the right to come around and say he's here to put things in order while he could have been putting shit in order in his mind this entire time. Well, what the fuck you been doing? You've been letting the Lord's house go out of order? That ain't right. You're going to be brought into question, man. It says, he that knoweth to do good and do it not shall be beaten with many stripes. This is a judgment that you might have to take a part of. And that's the scary thing. Right? That's the scary thing. The Lord, when he was here, he said, feed my sheep. Now, if you've been doing that in silence, right? You've been doing that in silence. How do we know that? Brothers have been bringing out the scriptures over and over again. Let that light shine before men. You know, it ain't right. This shit ain't right, man. It ain't right. You didn't believe, so you stopped preaching, right? You stopped going out on the highways and byways. You probably kept watching videos. You went and did whatever you felt you wanted to do. And now prophecies are popping off. And you pop back up. You pop back up, right? And now you want to be an authority. It ain't going to work. Hebrews 11:13, it says, these all died in faith, having not received the promise, right? Talking about all our forefathers that were righteous, right? But having seen them afar off. This dude didn't see the promises afar off. He didn't see them, right? Because he saw that, hey, things were delaying. The stuff didn't happen on his time that he wanted to happen. So things are happening now where you can't deny it. And now he's popping back up because now he sees it. Now he knows, yep, what I was teaching before is true because these things are starting to happen. It says, and were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. There's been no confession by him for however long it is. I don't know this dude. I don't really care about his history. I don't care that he was at One West and he was the seventh. Because what does the scripture say? It says, This is Ezekiel 33. It says, when I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trusts in his own righteousness and commit iniquity, right? And this dude trusting in his own righteousness. He believed that he did the work long enough, right? And he wanted to do it his own way. He didn't want to go out into the highways, byways no more, right? So he disappeared for however many years he'd been going. Right? The elders and apostles been teaching since before I was born. It was a year before I was born that they say I was born in 92. Right? So the elders and apostles have been teaching a year before I was born, or the year I was born. Right? So let's say this dude stopped preaching in 2007 or something like that. That's, what is that? It's 2023 right now. That's 12 years. Or that's not 12 years. Salakia. That's 11 or 12 years. That's 14 years. You ain't been out there. What's going on, man? What's going on? You got to answer those questions. That's not a right pathway. Not a right pathway that you've been going that long. It says, when I say, verse 13 again, when I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trusts in his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered, but for his iniquity that he had committed, he shall die for it. Again, I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right. If the wicked restore the pledge and give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live, he shall not die. But this dude turned his way from his hand from the plow. He didn't believe because he didn't see, right? And he thinks he's going to be put on this pedestal as being a teacher to Israel. You ain't taught nobody in a long time, man. It ain't right. This is 2 Peter 1. Second Peter 1 and 5. It says, and besides this, giving all diligence, right? This is what you're commanded to do. Besides this, giving all diligence. Is it diligent to sit here and at one point you in the mass eye of everybody, right? And you just disappear to where you come back years and years later, decade later, sitting there saying that you've been teaching in silence? Come on now. It says, and besides this, give all diligence, and add to your virtue, and add to your faith virtue, and to your virtue knowledge, and knowledge temperance, and temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness. If you've been in the cut by yourself, where's the brotherly kindness? Aren't you supposed to sit here and tell your brother when they're going off? But you've been in silence, not giving a warning. It's not right, man. And to brotherly kindness, charity. For if these things be in you and abound, right? If you kept doing all these things constantly and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfaithful in the knowledge of the Lord Yahushua, Hamashiach. But he that lacketh these is blind. You lacked them. You weren't doing all these things for so long, and cannot see afar off. You couldn't see, right? Because you weren't doing those things. The Lord didn't keep the spirit to keep seeing those things. Man, you made an excuse to go back and do whatever you were doing. It's just the truth. You made an excuse, did whatever you're doing. Now you see it. It'd be better if you would have came back in humility and be like, hey, man, I disappeared. Lord have mercy on me. I'm going to try to push as hard as I can. That'd be different. But no, you came back. Oh, I'm coming here to put things in order. Then you talking about, he tried to sit here and say that the black man's the devil. Yeah, there's some niggas that are devils, that are deceivers, but Esau in general is a fucking demon. He's the devil, right? But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. You forgot that you made an oath when you came in this thing. And that oath is very serious. Right? The Lord said, feed his sheep. When you took up the plow, that was the oath that you took, that you were going to feed the Lord's sheep, but you disappeared. It says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the Most High. Right? So like it, by faith he forsook Egypt, talking about Moses, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Right? But this dude didn't believe because he stopped doing the work. What does the scripture say? It says faith without works is dead. Well, you've been gone so long. Now you coming back when things are getting hot and heavy, chariots in the sky all the time. Right? War brewing, heavy. The mark of the beast getting pushed out. All this migration and coming into the States, economic collapse on the horizon, a whole new world order system coming in play, and now you pop back up? Nah, homie. That ain't right. Be honest. Be honest, bro. Right? Because you didn't apply faith, you didn't stay on the plow, you didn't stay in the game. You fell out. This is James 2. And I'll end it on this, man. Because I really didn't want to make this too long, and it already went further than I wanted. James 2 and 14. It says, what doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works? Can faith save? Can faith save him? Right? He said he was teaching in silence. He was doing whatever he was doing in silence. Hey, no. You got to have them works. At one point, y'all was teaching out on the highways and byways. What changed? Because our elders and apostles, they kept going, man. Through their work, bro, I came in. Their work, through the Spirit of the Lord being on them, many brothers came in. You see? But this dude, man, it ain't right, bro. Y'all, you didn't believe, so you couldn't see it. So now that it's happening, now you saying you believe. You want to come back and put things in order. Shameful. Shalom.